So let's get to the Old Man, because you and I have been back and forth a couple times on Old Man.
Mhm.
And I have to be
I've
honest with
been
you,
pushing the old man. I've been saying you've got to watch this show.
I know you're part of the reason that I first off watched it and then I stopped, and why I kept going because of you. So you're totally to blame of my opinion of Old Man. So you've praised Old Man kind of from start to finish. Are we
Yes.
actually at the end? Because they stopped, right? It's only 7 episodes.
Only 7 episodes for this first
Weird.
season. It has been renewed for a second season. Yeah, it's weird to have a 7-episode season.
I also felt like it ended kind of abruptly in its storyline. Maybe I just felt that. I don't know. Okay. So what was your overall thought? Because I know you like it, but just be a little more elaborate on what you like or don't like.
Overall thoughts, I love the casting of Jeff Bridges and John Lithgow. Jeff Bridges plays Dan Chase, a former CIA operative, and he's been on the run for a number of years, and his past finally catches up with him. While John Lithgow, who plays Harold Harper, is a assistant FBI director who gets called back into service when Dan Chase is found. And it's a good cat and mouse chase is what it is.
Yeah.
And one of the things I like about the series is you do find out about their past, not just, individually, but together. Whether it's in present day or in, scenes that take place 30 years ago. You learn about these characters.
Okay. So I agree, especially with the first 3 episodes. I loved how it starts, and Jeff Bridges is phenomenal. Episode 1 is kick butt. It's freaking great, and it's great to see some believability interjected. So even though there's this big fight and there's whatever, it's like he is totally torn up from the floor up. They're not trying to make this some sort of Gary Sue or some nonsense. Like I hate when they try to do stuff like that. I just rewatched the 2 Red movies. This reminded me a little bit of the Red, right? The retired super agent, that kind of thing. But they get beat up. They hurt. They're not quite as good as they used to. They be a little bit slow, that kind of thing. Lithgow, I think, is great as a foil because you never quite know where he's coming from, and you see a nice. I thought it was real. I thought it felt very authentic. Sometimes he felt like he was on Chase's side. Sometimes he was not. Sometimes he looks like he's going to be hard, cold killer in what he's going to try to approach. Sometimes he's like going to be sympathetic. So I thought it felt very real. I felt that the backstory that really got heavy in episode 4, like it was this major, like everything caves in with this backstory. And we're going to really get into this whole backstory with Chase running weapons, dealing with the Middle East and conspiracy. And then the woman's in bed with the Muslim cartel leader, basically. And she's really like a figurehead. She's well trusted and all that. So all of my disbelief started to kind of really get shaky. And I thought all of the rest of the season got very complex with all of that. And the backstory was sort of like overly complicated than it needed to be. I could have seen like a whole episode less of all of that, not to say one episode, but just cumulatively like cut one episode of all of that to make it tighter, to make it a little easier and faster. The daughter storyline and the other agent storylines and all that, although that was fine. The hitman coming and going, they were fine. The lady that he's kind of stuck with now, there was a couple good twists in there like that. So I won't say it's a high recommend. I would consider it a recommend, kind of a strong recommend if you like Jeff Bridges. If you like Jeff Bridges or John Lithgow, I think you should give it a whirl because it is pretty good. And if you like cat and mouse spy type stuff, I think it's worth seeing. I don't know. What do you think about like sort of the other cast members and storylines and stuff like that?
Well, when it came to Angela or Emily, as we come to find out, that's who she really is. When it comes to her storyline, I think they did an okay job going into her backstory, especially how she got into the FBI and her relation to Dan Chase and her relationship with Harold Harper. I think they did an okay job with that. But when it came to Zoe, it just seemed like we didn't know too much about her. Only what they wanted us to know.
Yeah, I keep feeling like we're getting duped. That they're going to try to make her into something special or something. But yeah, I don't know. It was okay. It's good. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of super great things to recommend. If you had to grade it, I don't really grade shows like that, but it's in that sort of like B category for me. It's not like an A+ you must see kind of show, but it's a B. It's good. It's all right. but I will say, like when you're in the second half of the show, there's like large swaths, 15 minutes of this episode where it's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, we'll just keep going. It's like it's almost too complicated for their own good. With again, the Middle Eastern backstory for me was what the issue was, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. And again, I think Jeff Bridges just hits it out of the park. His performance in a couple of episodes and scenes are so good, so good. So, I guess Gap agrees. He says they're A+. Okay, they are for sure. And the writing, I think, in the first 3 episodes is super tight, super tight. The first 3 episodes or so, really good. Let's see. Joker Voice taking us back to our anime comment. He says Castlevania on Netflix. You're not the first one to recommend Castlevania on Netflix, and love the anime. Like watch as a kid, Speed Racer, Battle of the Planets, Robotech, Voltron, etc. Yeah, that's kind of where my sweet spot is. Of course, growing up in that same kind of era. Battle of the Planet. I was hardcore into Battle of the Planet and Voltron, like every day watching. Came into more like Robotech, Speed Racer, and stuff a little bit later on. And then, of course, when you get into like, and again, I'm not going to give you any false commitments to watch a show, but I watched some of the movies. I want to go back and start in the 80s when I was watching, Akira and stuff like that. Kind of work my way back through some of the high points. So. All right, Gap. Let's see, Gap. Gap says, yeah, the actors are a plus, but I'll give it a B- overall. Oh, a minus. Okay. All right. I mean, like I said, I felt maybe the ending was my biggest hang up, Mike. It was like, it just stopped. And I'm like, wait, I needed more. I either needed more to wrap it up or I needed something to tighten up to make it a bigger cliffhanger. One of the two. Old Man didn't really end well for me. That feels right. I feel like it got canceled. I feel like oh, thank God they renewed it because I felt like it just stopped like a Jericho did or something. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah, and that's what I was saying in my reaction review for episode 7. I wanted more. I want to see more.
Yeah. It being renewed is probably the best thing that will save Old Man, because if it can be another 10 episodes and we can resolve up some of the season 1 stuff and kind of lay the groundwork for more. I like that. I think that could be interesting. I think there's a lot of easy things they can run with and haven't resolved yet. So yeah, good. Old Man's kind of a recommend, folks. Like I said, it's like I'm going to go B. Gap says B-. Mike probably likes it a little better than we do. But yeah, it's okay. It's on Hulu, so it's not the end of the world to track it down. So
I'm going to give it an A. That's just me, though.
It's a solid A. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. The difference between A and B for me is a lot more about those last few episodes. Like I don't really have any major issues with them, but like I said, if we took one episode out, it was a 6-episode season, and I could pick and choose, cutting out some of that Middle Eastern complexity and twist upon twist upon twist, tighten it back up. I could go to an A- easily. Das Wolfenpop.
I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah. So yeah, let's like I said, folks, we're just kind of hanging out tonight. We're talking about that. So that's the Old Man. Feel free to comment on that.
Yeah. Right.